Hi, Billy.
Hi, how are you, Lola?
Good.
Well, welcome back to the Liberal Lounge. We are back with some fun stuff to talk about, aren't we?
Yeah, a lot going on. Where do we start?
Yeah, so today we kind of wanted to talk about Kilmar Abrego Garcia and a little bit of an update because he was in the news a while ago, and
March.
there's some stuff that I think that, with everything coming out on a daily basis from this fucking administration, we now have to. Oh, and I don't mind using the word fuck anymore because
No.
Trump used it on
Oh,
TV, so why
yeah.
not? We can use it too now. Like everybody can
We
use
can
the
use
word
it
fuck.
everywhere.
Yeah. But this administration, what they're doing is just horrible.
Yeah.
And I think, they're putting so much information out there, flooding the gates in a way that we now have to try to sift through that. And this update is something that we feel is important because it really is it's gonna lead to such bigger issues that we need to talk about it. So let's get into it. What
Yeah.
what what do we know
Um,
about the case and where it's at?
well, one of the reasons why I brought this topic up was because I read that uh, Albrego's Garcia's own team of lawyers has requested that he stay in custody before his trial because they are afraid that there's going to be, oh, shall we call it a clerical error
Again, yeah,
again?
again, another
Uh,
clerical error.
that there will be another reason, or they will trump up another reason to deport him again. And one of the interesting facts that you told me was this is the first time U.S. president has ever returned anybody that's been deported. So this is our wonderful topic today.
And bringing him back shows that they admitted that they were wrong.
Mm-hmm.
They
They fought it.
famously, there was a clerical error. They had the president of El Salvador here while he was deported, and both of them, both Trump and both the president of El Salvador, said that there was no way for them to bring him back, which was complete and utter bullshit.
Yeah.
They were able to bring him back. They did bring him back. So that just shows how much they lie and how horrible this decision really was. And now they're trying. I mean, we kind of joked that they would have another clerical error, but I actually think that they are being as upfront and they're showing their cards as much as they possibly can. They're trying to pretend like he smuggled, that they're going to bring him up on smuggling charges, and that's
Human smuggling.
yeah, and that's why his lawyers,
Right.
which I mean, just put yourself in his shoes for a minute. Your lawyer's telling you that they want you to stay in jail because they're afraid of what's going to happen if you get out of jail.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that it's just
You
so
haven't been with your
opposite.
family for 3 months.
Yeah.
You haven't had a normal life. You've obviously lost your job. I mean, you are kidnapped, sent to a notoriously cruel, outrageous detention in another detention center in another country. And, you know, you have no idea what's going on.
And the reason that he came to America was because he was fleeing.
El Salvador.
Yeah, he was fleeing the gangs and things like that were in that country that
Yes.
they brought him back to.
Yes.
It's just so messed up how they're treated. And I think, one of the things that I think we all get caught up in that we're forgetting about is that there's a human life involved here. Just put yourself in those shoes and just think about that. I know that the media and that, the Republicans and, Trump has tried to paint him as
Mm-hmm.
this horrible person. He's not.
Mm-hmm.
He's a human being who was going about doing his business and was picked up in an ICE raid that ever since then, that's the other thing that we're not talking about, is since March, those ICE raids have gotten
They've,
more and more intense.
they've ratcheted up.
Yeah, and they're picking up people
Mm-hmm.
that had no criminal history, that has nothing going on in their history, that are US citizens at times.
They're going to judges' courtrooms to try. I mean, there was a judge that was
Yep.
notoriously locked up or arrested for contempt or for whatever because she allowed someone to leave through a private entrance in her chambers because there were ICE people. There were ICE looking to detain them. to deport them.
Yep.
That's not going after criminals. That's going after people that are looking to become citizens by showing up for their immigration appointments, reporting that they are living here and working here. They're doing all of the very, very complicated things to get their citizenship, to become documented
I
so that they can live here
I
in peace.
thought that was called entrapment. I
Mm-hmm.
really thought that was entrapment. That if you like, if there is some kind of legal process and you're abiding by that legal process, and you go there and then they entrap you, that's entrapment. It goes against so many United States principles that it's just unbelievable that the narrative is that they're illegal or that they are doing some kind of crime, and that's why we could throw every book out of the window, and we can just do whatever we want. Because the other thing too that's happening is there's no Miranda rights being given to people. So habeas
No
corpus,
habeas corpus,
yeah,
no Miranda
no due
rights.
process.
And if, yeah, the 48
I
hour,
mean,
yeah,
did I throw that at you? Because
yeah.
I feel like I shocked you.
No, but I could go on and on and on
I mean,
about
due
due
process.
process.
That's what we're talking about right
Yeah,
now. So
yeah.
so just think about that. I mean, and that's why everybody watching this, every American needs to be concerned by this, because if there's no due process, that means you could be picked up when we walk outside because an ICE agent just feels like, and these ICE agents are wearing masks,
Mm-hmm.
they're not identifying themselves. So it could be the same as just somebody picking you up and trying to abduct you,
Right,
and then they're going to have no due process. They're going to say that you've done something, and who
right,
knows if that's even true. And then they're going to deport you. So
right,
you could be deported within 48 hours with no due process, no actual like law abiding process
right,
to prove that you did anything wrong.
right.
And these ICE agents are just running rogue. The power that they have right now and the power they must be feeling is ridiculous and out of control.
Well, and the rumors have it that a lot of these ICE agents or independent contractors that have been hired to handle the 3,000 a day quotas that this administration has set are actually January 6ers.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, I guess fleets of ICE agents that tried to get into Dodger Stadium, and they were shut down, locked out. And I
Why were they
actually,
saying that there was immigrants within, like, working there or something along those lines?
they thought that it was as good as Broadacres
Swap
in
meet?
Las Vegas,
Yeah.
or Home Depot, or an immigration judge's office.
Yeah. Well, so this leads us to, I think, a broader question about birthright citizenship.
Yeah.
And that's where I think, we talked about how they're picking you up and how they're deporting people with no due process, but now the conversation has shifted a little bit to birthright citizenship. And I mean, if that isn't scary to every American, it should be, because that means that no
Absolutely.
matter who you are, if you were born in the United States, which is all of us, that we have no legal right to staying here. They can deport us. I don't know where the fuck they're going to send us. Like,
Right.
I'm Italian, so maybe they'll send me to Italy. I don't know. But where are they going to send us? They're going to send us to El Salvador and these horrible jails, and they're picking us up with no probable cause.
Right.
So what's stopping them from thinking that I am somebody of color or somebody that looks like somebody that did something and deport me away? And
Mhm.
what do I have to fight it?
When I lived in Miami, everybody spoke Spanish to me. They just assumed that I was Spanish. If I'm not allowed to open my mouth and I'm not allowed to show them my ID, what's stopping them from picking me up if I'm in the wrong place at the wrong time? I have a real problem with this. I have a real problem with how it affects our military. I have a problem with the fact that you might have two parents that are, stationed out of the country,
Yeah.
and they're both American citizens, but their child is born out of this country. They should automatically be a citizen because of their parentage. And this birthright citizenship or naturalized citizenship or whatever the citizenship requires it becomes very murky, and it becomes a manipulation in my mind of whose ever regime is in power at the time. All of a sudden, it's Trump and only Trump and his regime and his administration that gets to decide whether or not you're from America. How is that possible?
Yeah,
How, and
it
it
doesn't
is
make any sense.
possible because that's what he's talking about. He doesn't want to just deport immigrants who
Or
are criminals,
yeah, criminal immigrants.
which is what he campaigned on. He's looking to deport U.S. citizens who might screw up,
Well,
who have a criminal record.
and let's just be clear that a person that is going through the process to get their papers and is not legally in the United States, but has the process, has
Has
a
started the
lawyer,
process,
has
exactly.
has their paperwork filed, they are not committing a crime. They are not illegal. They are going through they have some kind of emancipation while they're going through that, and it looks like we're vilifying them and we're not allowing them to go through this process anymore because they apparently don't want anybody coming here from another country, unless, of course, it's certain countries, then that's okay.
Right.
But they want to be able to pick and choose that. And America's never stood for that. We've always taken in anybody that's needed to be taken in from other countries. And that, I mean, that's what the
That's
Statue of
what it's
Liberty,
based on.
yeah, that's what the Statue of Liberty, which was a gift from Paris, is saying to people coming to America.
Yes.
Ah, what a heavy topic. I feel like
one that I'm quite passionate about.
yeah, I feel like we touched on a lot of a lot of issues. We're getting better at these videos. We're going to link some of these topics in the description because there's too much to talk about. And as we've said before, we're not the experts.
No, we're just passing along our passion, sharing our passion for politics with you all, and hoping that you stay informed. If anything we talked about has triggered something for you, please do a little Google search.
Yep.
And I encourage you to check out sources that are not your norm. Check out, what Fox News is saying. Check out what the mega people are reading, just so you can see the other side of it. We don't want you to just believe everything that we say. We want you to look it up and stay informed.
Yep, absolutely. Well, I think that's a good note to end on. I feel like we got a little bit heated and a little bit like excited. So with that, we will say please like and subscribe our videos. We're starting to pick up some steam, and we really appreciate that. So with that, I will say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.